Captain Morrigan of the Terran Defense Force settled into position on the ridge overlooking the valley. 3 kilometers away, the alien encampment bustled with activity. The Valkyrie invasion force had made planetfall 8 days ago, and their confidence had grown with each passing hour. Their energy shields and plasma weaponry had initially overwhelmed local militia forces, but they hadn't yet encountered Earth's professional soldiers. Morrigan adjusted the bipod of her M408 long-range kinetic rifle. The weapon was ancient by galactic standards, a refined version of technology humans had used for centuries. No fancy energy fields, no plasma bolts, no quantum disruption. Just precisely machined metal, carbon fiber, and carefully calculated physics. "Target confirmed," whispered Lieutenant Davis, her spotter. Through his high-powered scope, he observed the tall figure emerging from the central command structure. Commanders emerged. Purple cape, central pavilion. The aliens had been broadcasting their communications openly, arrogantly unconcerned about human intelligence gathering. Morrigan and Davis had listened to hours of their tactical chatter, including numerous dismissive comments about human primitive projectile weapons. Distance: 3,142 meters. Wind from the west at 8 kilometers per hour. Temperature 12 degrees Celsius. Humidity 30%. Davis continued feeding information as Morrigan made minute adjustments to her scope. "Calculating," Morrigan whispered, her mind running through the ballistic equations. The bullet would drop nearly 70 meters over that distance. She adjusted her aim accordingly, factoring in windage, the planet's slightly lower gravity, and the Coriolis effect. In the valley below, Commander Krell of the Valkyrie Expeditionary Force addressed his officers. Their species had conquered 12 worlds across 3 star systems, and this backwater human colony would be the 13th. "Their weapons are museum pieces," Krell boasted, his mandibles clicking with amusement. "Metal projectiles. Can you imagine? My personal shield would stop such primitive attacks without registering a power drain." His officers chittered in agreement. The Valkyrie had mastered energy shield technology centuries ago. Their personal protection fields could dissipate energy attacks up to 15 megajoules instantaneously. They had shown minimal resistance. "Tomorrow we advance on their main settlement. Remember, we need intact infrastructure and at least 70% of the population unharmed for proper resource extraction." On the ridge, Morrigan exhaled slowly, her finger caressing the trigger. "Send it," Davis whispered. The rifle cracked, its sound suppressor dampening, but not eliminating the distinctive report. The 14.5 mm tungsten cored round left the barrel at 1,100 meters per second. 3 seconds passed. Commander Krell was mid-sentence when the round struck him center mass. His personal shield, calibrated to disperse energy attacks, did absolutely nothing against the kinetic penetrator. Nearly 25,000 joules of energy transferred into his body in an instant. His exoskeleton shattered, and his internal organs liquefied from the hydrostatic shock. Panic erupted among the Valkyrie officers. "Next target," Morrigan said calmly as she cycled the bolt, ejecting the spent casing and chambering another round. The aliens scattered, their tactical discipline forgotten in the face of an incomprehensible attack. Their commander had died instantly despite his state-of-the-art shields. It violated everything they understood about modern warfare. Over the next 4 minutes, Morrigan systematically eliminated 7 more high-ranking Valkyrie officers. Their shields, designed to handle energy weapons, were completely ineffective against kinetic projectiles moving faster than the speed of sound. "They're deploying anti-artillery sensors," Davis noted as devices began hovering above the encampment. "Time to relocate." Morrigan fired one final shot, destroying the main communication array, before the 2 humans melted back into the forest. By nightfall, they had relocated 20 kilometers away, overlooking the aliens' secondary command post. Back at the main Valkyrie camp, Acting Commander Vrix examined the recovered human projectile that had been extracted from a bulkhead behind where Krell had fallen. It was simple, almost elegant in its deadliness. A copper-jacketed tungsten rod, precisely machined and balanced. How could something so primitive defeat our shields? An officer asked. The Valkyrie scientist present cleared his throat nervously. Our shields are energy-based. They're designed to disperse plasma, lasers, particle beams, energy. These are just hunks of metal moving very fast. There's nothing to disperse. So our superior technology is irrelevant against this attack method, the scientist finished. Vrix clicked his mandibles anxiously. Adjust all shields to maximum coverage. Deploy counter-sniper drones. Find these humans. But the humans were already elsewhere. Over the next 3 days, the Terran Defense Force unleashed centuries of perfected kinetic warfare tactics against the increasingly desperate Valkyrie. Snipers eliminated command staff. Railgun artillery destroyed their ships. Tungsten penetrators fired from orbit punched through their bunkers. The aliens' technological superiority meant nothing against weapons operating on principles they had long ago abandoned. On the 7th day, Morgan watched through her scope as the remaining Valkyrie officers raised the white flag they had been instructed to use for surrender. Central Command confirms they're standing down planet-wide, Davis said, checking his communications unit. Morgan nodded, finally allowing herself to relax slightly. Send the response, surrender accepted, prepare for evacuation. As they packed up their position, Davis glanced at his captain. Do you think they understand yet? Morgan shrugged, collapsing the bipod on her rifle. Probably not. The galaxy out there forgot what we humans never could, that physics is physics. A fast-moving object carries energy, period. No field technology changes that fundamental truth. She slung the rifle across her back. Soon word would spread through the galactic community. Humans might use primitive weapons, but they had perfected them to deadly efficiency. And unlike energy weapons, you never saw a kinetic round coming until